Hi everybody, I'm Sergi Kilembi and thanks for joining me for the weekly US market report. Time to trade the markets, the week ahead, perspectives and analysis. For the trading week beginning on today is Monday, October the 23rd until Friday, October the 27th of 2017. So let's begin, and first as usual, you already know that we're gonna have a look at some news just to see what people are talking about, to see if we have some catalyst or some hint about some companies that may interest you for trading, speculating, or whatever. Next, we're gonna have a look at the economic calendar over here, as you can see. Next, earnings. Next, we're gonna have a look at the S&P 500 sectors map. Next, the ETF map, and then you're gonna do some technical analysis and stuff like that. So I remember just to have that in mind. So you can check me out on my webpage www.jctweem.com/solution English over here by clicking on the English flag for you English speaking people, and we're going to be redirect directly to the section where you can take a look at all my services, business services. Okay, so now let's begin. First, let's have a look at markets. You know that Dow Jones all-time high, S&P 500 all-time high, and Nasdaq 100 all-time high. Also Nasdaq composites. To talk about, you see, last week we have a huge. You see, Bitcoin prices are soaring to new all-time highs. Now we had a little bit of a correction. So that may be a good opportunity to buy the dips and stuff like that. But you already know and already noticed that I've started a new cryptocurrency segment. That's for your midweek report, and I'm gonna publish that particular vlog each Wednesday. So check the crypto space on Wednesday. Here you're gonna be focusing on the stock market. Okay. So, what do we have over here? We have Tesla. So Tesla should make a change to prove itself to Wall Street. So Tesla, keep Tesla in mind. Next, let's continue. What do we have here? Talking about stocks. Best performing stocks for last session on Friday. Boeing, United Health, Goldman Sachs, Cisco Systems, JP Morgan Chase, and the Traveler Company. Worst performing stocks: McDonald's, Caterpillar, Coca-Cola, and Procter & Gamble. Next, what do we have over here? You see Walmart. Walmart.com may become an online mall. Okay, Walmart. So that's huge competition for Amazon.com. Okay, of course. Next, let's move on. People are asking questions about GM self-driving strategy, but the car maker is sticking to its plan. So GM, we have Tesla, Walmart, GM, and in regard of Walmart.com, you already know that we can talk about Amazon.com also. Next, commodities. What do we have over here? Talking about gold, but astronomers detected 100 Earth worth of gold being forged in space. Okay, so that's great. And over here, zinc. Zinc price spike sparks flurry of minor listing. Okay, another one. Let's move on. Currencies. You see, currencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum down today, and all the other currencies. Remember the euro. Remember we touched it. We made another all-time high for the year. It's close to 121. But now take a look. Since we've analyzed a potential shorts towards 1.15. Take a look at that. So we were right. Okay, so that's great. So we are buying the dollar and selling the euro. Over here, the Canadian dollar is stumbling after disappointing data. That's macroeconomic data. Over here, Brexit trade negotiations blocked by the EU until Christmas. So that means movements between the Grand British Pound and the Euro. Over here, Mr. Jimmy Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase. We ask cryptocurrency experts to respond to Jimmy Dimon's Bitcoin's bashings. Here's what they say. So another one, Bitcoin. Always in the news. And now bonds, rates, and treasury notes. What do we have over here? There's a clear reason Democrats are so intent on saving the states and local tax deduction. So the all Trump administration tax cuts and stuff like that. So make sure you take a look at that. And over here, Mrs. Janet Yellen, Fed President James Bullard tells us why he disagrees with his colleagues about the need for more rate hikes. You know, the rate hikes are in talk, so we're going to see if in December at the FOMC minutes meeting we're going to have, yes or not, another rate hike, excuse me. So the consensus is another 25 basis points of hike. You know that right now we are at 1.25%, and a 25 basis points will mean an increase to 1.25 to 1.50. Okay, so that's it for the news. So now let's move on, and over here let's have a look at the economic calendar for this week. What do we have on Monday? Monday today at 4 p.m. in the EU, consumer confidence flash for October. Next on Tuesday, October the 24th, in Germany, we have the market manufacturing PMI flash for October. Next on Wednesday, October the 25th, what do we have? Germany, IF4 business climate for October. In Great Britain, we have GDP growth rates quarter-over-quarter, prelude for the Q3, and GDP growth rate year-over-year, prelude for the Q3. Next, in the US, we have durable goods orders month-on-month for September. In Canada, we have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision. Previous 1%, consensus 1%, and forecast 1%. So the interest rate is going to remain unchanged. Next, in the US, we have the new home sales for September. On Thursday, October the 26th, we have in South Korea, we have the GDP growth rate quarter-over-quarter advance of Q3, and also the year-over-year advance for Q3. And in Germany, we're going to have the GfK consumer confidence for November. And in the EU, we're going to have the ECB interest rate decision, and followed by a ECB press conference. And the interest rates are at 0%, previous 0%, consensus is 0%, and the forecast is 0%. So the situation is going to remain unchanged. And on Friday, October the 27th, we're going to have in Japan, we're going to have the inflation rate year-over-year for September. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on and let's have a look at earnings for the same period for the trading week beginning on Monday, October the 23rd until Friday, October the 27th. These are the major and companies with huge impact. What do we have? We have Halliburton, we have Illinois Tool Works, we have Kimberly-Clark. Over here, that's Singapore, we have Scorpio Bulkers. Back in the States, we're going to have State Street. And on October the 24th, we're going to have 3M, AT&T, Biogen. In Canada, we're going to have the Canadian National Railway USA. Back in the US, Capital One Financial, Caterpillar, DuPont, Eli Lilly, Express Scripts, General Motors, Lockheed Martin, McDonald's, Regional Management, Sherwin-Williams, Texas Instruments, United Technologies. October the 25th, we're going to have Amgen, Hentin, Boeing, Care.com, Castlight Health, Coca-Cola, Customers Bancorp, General Dynamics, Graham, GHM, Las Vegas Sands, Mid-South Bancorp, Moyles and Company, Norfolk Southern, Northrop Grumman, Public Storage, T-Mobile US, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, Visa, Walgreens Boots Alliance. On Thursday, October the 26th, we're going to have A10 Networks, Altria, Amazon.com, American Electric Power. In China, we're going to have Baidu, but Baidu is listing in the US stock exchange on the Nasdaq by ADR. So remember Baidu. Back in US, Boston Scientific, Bristol Myers Squibb, Celgene, Chubb, CME, Comcast, ConocoPhillips, Dow Chemical, Innova International, Enterprise Products Partners, Ford Motor, Gilead Sciences, Hilton Worldwide, Intel. In the Netherlands, Intelsat. Over here, back in US, March and McLennan Companies, Microsoft, New Media Investments, Next Era Energy, Pioneer in Energy Services, Prax Air, Raytheon, Southwest Airlines, Stryker, in Canada, Suncor Energy USA. Back in US, Union Pacific, United Postal Service, Vocera Communications, and last trading day for this week on October the 27th, Friday, October the 27th. We're going to have Actinium Pharmaceuticals in Great Britain, AON. Back in the US, Chevron, Colgate-Palmolive, ExxonMobil. Back in the Netherlands, LyondellBasell Industries. Back in the US, Merck & Co. New Home, Phillips 66. Canada, in Canada, we're going to have Select Omi, Wraith. Back in the US, Simon Property Group and UBS Group, also trading in the New York Stock Exchange by ADR. So remember, in Switzerland and both in the US, we're going to have the publications for UBS Group, the world's largest investment bank. So that's it for earnings for this week. Now let's have a look at the S&P 500 sectors map on with a weekly performance. And over here, what can we see? Technology. Remember, stock market in all-time highs. The Dow Jones passed the 23K. Over here, what do we have? Technology, great week. Services, great week, except for Amazon, HD, and low companies. Cable TV systems, bad week for Netflix and other competitors. Bad week for Starbucks. Basic materials, that's a 50-50, but great week for ExxonMobil and flat week for Chevron. Healthcare, great week, except here for the biotechnology sector. Flat, except for Celgene, minus 11%. Utilities, great week. Remember, we're going to have earnings for NEE, Next Era Energy. Industrial goods, great week. We're going to have GE Publishing, Raytheon also, and Lockheed Martin, and Caterpillar also. So remember that, 3M also. Over here, consumer goods, bad weeks for consumer goods, bad weeks for Procter & Gamble, bad week for Philip Morris, bad week for Kraft Heinz Company, and Apple is flat. And next, and finally, financials. Great week for the money center banks, the JP Morgans, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup. A great week also for the investment bank. Great week for Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. Bad week for CME Group. And credit services, that's a 50-50, but bad week for Visa, for MasterCard, and American Express. And great week for PayPal and Capital One Financial. And also phenomenal week for Synchrony. What is this? Synchrony Financial. Okay, so that's it for our weekly performance. Now let's have a look at the ETFs. So you know, markets are at all-time high. So all the major indices in green. Over here, large cap in green, mid cap in green, small cap in green. Volatility, the inverted, that's perfect. The XIV and stuff like that in green, and VIX in red. VIX is at all-time lows. And next, what do we have over here? The sectors. Remember, real estate, bad week for real estate. Bad week for healthcare. Bad week for energy. Great week for financials. Great week for utilities. Great week for consumer non-cyclicals. Bad week, excuse me, for consumer non-cyclicals. Great week for consumer cyclicals. Industrial, great week. Basic materials, great week. Technology also in green. Next, international, everything in red. Bad week for the internationals. Europe, China, Brazil, emerging markets, Latin America, India, and Asian Pacific. The global miners, everything in red. Gold is being smashed down. Over here, commodities, bad week for gold and CLV, great week for USO, and that's it. And the fixed income, remember, fixed income is flat, corporate bonds flat, and US government bonds in red. Okay, so money is leaving the fixed income to enter the risk assets, so the major indices. Okay, that's it. So now let's move on, and now let's have a look at, let's do some technical analysis over here. And what do we have over here? So now here, let's begin with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Remember, last week I told you the target will be 23,000 points. And we see a huge run, so that the market is going towards the 23,500 points. And take a look at the pattern. Great week, a strong bullish candle. next 2 week of indecision, interaction with the 4 weeks moving average, and next, boom, another bullish power candle, then a smaller week, a week with a weaker volume, interaction with the 4 weeks moving average, and next, boom, another bullish power candle. So it seems to me that we're gonna have a very, very strong bullish week. Maybe we're gonna reach the 23,500, and next week we're gonna have some kind of sideways movement. Okay, so Dow Jones bullish, so buy everything you can, but with your in regard of your risk tolerance. Okay, so that's it, bullish on the stock market. Next, let's move on. Let's have a look at the Nasdaq 100. Nasdaq 100, led by the FANG stocks, but we see that week, last week was a bad week for all the FANG names, Amazon.com, Apple, and stuff like that. And we see we have a doji over here, so that's indecision. We are at record highs, but indecision. But take a look over here at this particular uptrend channel. You see supports over here, resistance, support, resistance over here, all-time high, resistance, sideways movement, boom, break above that particular level, and now we are moving towards the channel's resistance. So a target for the Nasdaq 100, 6,200 points. Okay, but be cautious over here because we have an indecision candle, so maybe we're gonna have some type of sideways movements to interact more with the 4 weeks moving average, maybe also the 8 weeks moving average, but in overall we remain bullish. The target is the channel's resistance over here at 6,200. Okay, so that's it for the Nasdaq 100. Next, let's move on and let's have a look at the S&P 500. S&P 500, okay, exactly the same thing, pretty much the same thing as the that we saw with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So over here also all-time highs. You see strong bullish power candle, indecision candle, followed by an indecision candle, followed by another bullish, strong bullish candle, interaction over here with the 4 weeks moving average. Over here we have another bullish power candle followed by a indecision candle, and next this week we begin the week pretty strong with another bullish power candle, and we are moving towards the 2580. So we remain bullish, strong week. So that's it. If the earnings are strong, so we already know that this week gonna be another record week. Another historical record week. Okay, so let's move on now. Let's have a look at the VIX volatility index. Okay, over here the VIX, and what can we see with the VIX? A spike higher. Yeah, that's not a spike. Last week we had some type of spike. You see all the major moving averages are moving sideways, or you see over here interaction with the 52 weeks moving average towards at around 1170, and over here now we are above the 4 weeks moving average, interaction with the 8 weeks moving average, but we had a gap up and now moving to the downside. So now we are around 10 points for the volatility index. So that's it, so be cautious also. Next, let's move on and let's have a look at the XIV. Okay, XIV here, and XIV is looking bullish. Okay, looking very bullish. You see over here the 52 weeks moving average, bam, the resistance down here at 96.45, above 100 points. And over here above the 4 weeks moving average, still going higher, targets 115 and 120. So we remain bullish with the XIV. Okay, now let's move on. Let's have a look at small caps first. Let's check the excuse me, let's have a look at the small cap. Okay, over here. Okay, that's your Russell 2000. You see that huge bullish power candle above the 4 weeks moving average, and now we have sideways movement with a resistance at 1520. Now we have interaction with the 4 weeks moving average, so we have to wait for a break above 1520, and if we're gonna retest that past resistance now supports around that's between the 8 weeks moving average and 13-week moving average. Oh no, that's the region of the 13 weeks moving average here in red, so maybe we can retest those 1440, or if we're gonna retest, have in mind that we can go lower, that we can correct towards the 1475 and 1450. Okay, but for the moment, sideways movements. So we're going to wait and see what's going to happen during the trading week and also earnings week. Okay, so remember that. But overall, we remain bullish, but we need to break above that particular level of 1520. But for the moment, sideways movement. Next, what do we have next? See, next we have, let's have a look at treasury bonds. First of all, let's begin with the 10-year treasury notes. The 10-year treasury note. Okay, over here. Okay, you see over here we were uptrending, and next, excuse me, so this one is more like that. Okay, you see over here uptrend channel, supports, resistance, intermediate support over here, back to the major resistance here, major support, major resistance, rejected it by also the $128 over here, rejected, back to the support, break below the support over here, back at the pivot point at 125, 124.85, and now we are stuck here in sideways movement. And you see over here, that's a bearish outside candle. That's a, we can say, a bearish reversal, and now we are trading lower, but with small volume. We have a peak over here, pointer at 124.64, so below 124.50 we're gonna look for 123.50. Okay, so that's it. For the moment, we remain bearish because we are below the 4 weeks moving average over here. Take a look, that's your 52 weeks moving average over here in pink, acting as a strong resistance, so that's pushing bond prices lower. So remember, if the bond prices are trading lower, that means that the yield are going higher. And also, if money is leaving the bond market, the fixed income is going to go towards risk assets, so the money is going into the stock market right now. Okay, so that's it. Next, let's move on, and now let's have a look at the 30 years treasury bond. Where's my treasury year to no, that's the yield. Me, I don't want that one. Wait. Okay, over here. Okay, people, here you see exactly the same thing. You see channel support, break below that support. Now we retested it as a resistance, rejected it. You see over here, that's a bearish rejection candle, a bearish reversal, and now we are back here. But take a look at that. Here in green, you see that particular moving average. That's your 208 weeks moving average. And over here, that's your 4 weeks moving average. Over here in pink, also that's your 52 weeks moving average, acting as a strong resistance. You see over here, that's your convergence point. So the everything is looking bearish, very, very bearish. You see, that's our support. So that's a 1, 2, 3 times. That's a multiple bottom over here. So if we trade lower, remember, below 151 over here, we're gonna go back towards 148, 147.90. That means bond yields are going higher. That means money is going back to money is leaving fixed income and going back to the stock market for trading and investing in risk assets. Okay, so that's it. So 30-year treasury bonds will remain bearish. Next, let's move on and let's have a look at the DXY, the US dollar index. Remember, we saw the euro falling from the 121 going back towards 1.17, and my target it's 1.15. And now over here we see the US dollar have founding a bottom at 91 and now trading higher. So the dollar is getting back steam and it's getting back power, it's strengthening. Okay, so over here take a look, that particular critical zone over here with sideways movement, exactly the same thing it's happening now. Instead of being bearish, now we are bullish. So going up, sideways movements, and then boom, another leg up. Okay, so that's it. Here you see we are above the 4 weeks moving average, 208 moving average, 8 weeks moving average, 13 weeks moving average, sideways movement. You see between the 13 weeks moving average and the 21 weeks moving average, that's your 26-week moving average. You see the convergence, and now the 4-week moving average is going after the 21 weeks moving average. So that's a bullish momentum, that's a bullish signal. So over here we expect to go much higher, and targets we wait for confirmation. Number one, a close with a bullish candle, that means a green candle in that case, above, close above that region, above 94.20, and then a break above 94.40 or 94.50, because of that's the 50%. Let me amplify. Okay, zoom in. Okay, that's 50% of that particular no, excuse me, here that's 50% of that particular bearish candle, you see. And if we trade higher, as you see also, that's going to coincide with 94.50 and in 1 or 2 weeks with the 26 moving average over here. So a close above that particular level means another leg higher. So you see we can have another 1 to 3 weeks trading higher. So that week, that's a week of maybe in November, we're going to see a close above that particular level and then run higher towards 96. Okay, so that's it for the US dollar. We remain bullish, but we wait for confirmation and then we're gonna enter the trade. So that means we're gonna buy the US dollar and we're gonna sell the other currencies. In the case for the euro dollar, we're gonna sell the euro, buy the dollar. Dollar yen, we're gonna buy the US dollar and sell the Japanese yen. US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, we're gonna buy the US dollar and we're gonna sell the Canadian dollar. Remember earlier in the news section, we saw that the Canadian dollar is trading lower because of bad macroeconomic data. So that means that we're gonna sell that particular currency and we're gonna buy the US dollar. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's have a look at commodities, and first of all we're going to begin with energy. We're going to begin with oil. So let's see oil WTI, crude WTI futures. Okay, over here, and that's it. Let's zoom in. Remember, you see our A, B, C, D trading higher. We reach 52.50. Trying to reach 52.85 as a high. So we are trading in a range. You see now a huge correction over here, but you see 52 weeks moving average acting as a strong support. You see that particular region, That's our pivot point region over here. Resistance, now support, bearish candle, bullish reversal candle, bullish rejection. See, that's a bearish rejection, no, bullish rejection pattern. We rejected it at lower prices. Take a look over here. That's your 13 weeks moving average acting as a trend line. We are trending higher, trending up. So now we can talk about another thing. Let's have a look at that. You see that particular movement. You see the dip over here. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna clone that particular pointer, take the pointer, put it in over here, and that's gonna give us our target. You see, target at $56. And earlier this week, no, last week, I was watching Bloomberg, and some oil experts and people talking. Oh yeah, remember, we have some major catalysts. You see the conflict in Iraq with the Kurdistan people over there. They're fighting over oil wells and stuff like that, and Iran also, and a lot of stuff's going on. Also, we have the president and chair of the OPEC community, and he was talking about, he was very confident in seeing all the policies and regulations being fulfilled by first semester of 2018, and also that countries like China and Russia, obviously Russia is going to agree to the cuts in productions and stuff like that. But overall, now we have the strong fundamentals, but we need to see in the future how it's going to play out. But in the meanwhile, we are seeing strong oil prices and oil being very bullish investors, and everything is looking very bullish for oil. So I'm expecting also a major run in oil prices, and my overall target above $53 over here a barrel. I'm seeing a potential target for oil at $56 a barrel. Okay, so that's it. Let's put it like that. Okay, so that's my target. So remember, now what we're gonna see, we're gonna see something like that. You see over here, that's boom, boom, boom. So remember, that's a inception point, that region, that dip. The B, that's our first leg. Over here, distribution, people are taking profit. That's the C point, that's a correction. If you love the Fibonacci, remember 100% over here, 0%. So you see the retracement, that's a 50% retracement from here, inception point, going higher to the D point. And that's our second leg, higher, and that's our projection in technical analysis. First of all, we have a free trade over here, because the free trade is going to be like that. Let me take another color. We have that V shape over here, so we find points to buy, and we're gonna buy to go towards the resistance, and at the resistance we're gonna wait for a break above 54, and going to gain $2 and to go to $56 a barrel. Okay, so we look for that great potential movement over here. That's the inception, so we remain bullish, you see. Okay, that's it. So oil, bullish on oil, but wait and see to see that huge we wait for a break over here. But also remember, we have kind of spikes, so we are rejecting those prices. You see, we gave back 50% of all the gains, so that's a strong resistance. 50, yes, the $52, the strong resistance. We need a confirmation. You need a green candle above $52 first, and next above $53. So I'm gonna go step by step. Okay, so that's it for energy. Now let's finish with precious metals, and let's begin with gold futures. Okay, no, excuse me, that's GC gold futures. And over here you see with gold that exactly the same thing. You see exactly the same pattern, but we are trading lower over here. You see we are still uptrending. You see the uptrend over here, That's clearly an uptrend channel. You see, boom, we're going higher over here. See supports, resistance, supports, resistance. Now you see that resistance over here, resistance now testing as a support, trying to go higher. No continuation. You see that particular level, no continuation above 1310, 1315. But next, what do we have? A bearish rejection candle, and now we are going back lower. But here we have all the major moving averages in convergence. You see, so we are gonna have some type of a sideways movement for a while. So here, that's your supports uptrend. You see the trend line over here, that's our support region. So maybe we can bounce from here and going higher. First of all, first target, resistance. Okay, so if we have a confirmation, that means above 1310, we're gonna have a huge run, $50 from 1310 until towards 1360. So that's another great potential trade, but for the moment expect sideways movement. But in overall, gold is looking bullish. That's just, you see, corrections, that's distribution. People are taking profits and now are going back towards risk assets, okay, back to the stock market. But in the overall, gold is looking bullish. Take a look over here. Since 2017 year to date, we are bullish, we are higher. You see over here, that's 1130, and now here that's 1275. So that's bullish, okay, remember that. But wait for confirmations. But that's a great opportunity to be stacking physicals, to going back and buy physicals, okay. Now let's move on and let's have a look at silver. Oh no, excuse me, SI. Okay, silver futures. Okay, silver futures, and silver is looking flat. You see, beginning of 2017, we are higher, so that's still bullish. But you see here, that's a large accumulation phase, okay? So we are witnessing a very popular pattern, and the pattern is cup and handle. We are doing this, okay, and next the handle, that's our resistance, and then bam, I'm gonna explode higher. You see, also if we trace stuff like that, we need to be, that's our sell side, and over here that's our buy side. So we need a close with a candle over here, and next continuation, okay. But for the moment we have sideways movement, and also we are witnessing, you see over here, I was waiting for that particular movement. You see the V over here, that's a free trade from here to here. But now we have a inside week candle over here, and now I'm waiting. You see, inside week candle, 1 week, 2 weeks, still between those fluctuation of that great bullish candle, strong bullish candle over here. See, take a look at all the moving averages are going sideways, except the 4 weeks moving average. 4 weeks moving average trying to go higher, but we are below that particular level, so we can go back towards 1680 and remain in a sideways movements. You see, inside week candle. So what can we see over here? It's going to be the following: below 1680, that's a sell, and above let's say over here above 1745, that's a buy. To be conservative, above let's see, yeah, above 1750, that's a buy. You see over here, take a look, we have a gap, bearish gap, so that gap must be filled, and above 1750, that's a buy around those levels. You see also that's your 208 week moving average, so acting as a strong resistance. Above that level, that's a buy from 1750 until $18, okay. So that's a 50 cents gain, so that's great, and we're gonna fill the gap also, okay. So that's it, people. Remember, be cautious, great risk management, great money management. See the plays, enter the trades, and do your best to catch and take profits, okay. So people, so that's it for the week. And remember, on Wednesday I'm going to be doing the full cryptocurrency report with news and also technical analysis, price action and stuff like that. Okay, so remember that you can follow me and be in contact with me at my website www.jctrim.com/solution English. Over here, click on the English banner, and we're going to be redirect to the English speaking section. And to be in contact with me, you can leave a contact below, or you can here send me a message. We have the messaging tool over here, the message box, and also contact me directly by calling my that number over here. That's a number exclusively for WhatsApp, Viber, and Facebook Messenger. So I'm going to be glad to answering your question and give you more information about my consulting services, investment, and financial services. You know that I'm a introducer broker. So I'm a trader, independent trader, broker, and also I'm an agent of Swiss-based bullion dealers and brokers companies. Okay, so that's it. Okay. So people, once again, thank you very much. Take care. Have a great trading week. And I'll see you on Wednesday for the cryptocurrency reports. And I'll see you next Sunday or next Monday morning for your stock market trading week, the week ahead, stock market reports. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great week. Bye-bye.